Whisper it quietly, Oxford fans, and I can't stress that enough. Whisper it quietly, but is the luck starting to run in our favour this season? Hello everybody and welcome back to another review of this Oxford United season. Today United were at home to Ipswich Town, played at an extremely foggy Kassam Stadium. Conditions in the second half pretty farcical at times, playing against one of the high flyers in League One that have given us in the last few weeks on Boxing Day, in fact, a bit of a hammering, a bit of a pasting, Ipswich winning on 3-0 on that occasion. So there were a few fans, myself including, fearing the worst in this game. But what could Oxford United produce? Well, I tell you what, somewhat similarly to what we saw against Fleetwood Town, Oxford have ridden their luck, but they've come out on the right side of it. What a win this is for Oxford United. It finished Oxford United 2, Ipswich Town 1. So I'm going to go over some team news and I'm going to talk about the game and then do some player ratings and then give my final thoughts at the end. I've got timestamps down below if you do just want to jump to any particular section. But this was a big week for Oxford United, really. This game almost went by the wayside in terms of what the fans were talking about, because all the talk's just been about the stadium and this big meeting that's happening on the 24th of Jan about whether we can move forward with the new site. Probably not going to be Stratfield Break, probably looking more likely to be that Freeze Way triangle site. And so the attention's kind of gone off this game a little bit, but it did roll around. It survived frozen conditions and the fog. Carl Robinson rung in the changes and played a different formation. I kind of thought he might do this as well, but he went with a 3-5-2. So Brandon Fleming started his first game at wing-back in this role today. Also, interestingly, no recognised striker up top as well. He went with Yannick Wildschut and Billy Bodin up top. So a bit surprising that not Taylor or O'Donker gets a run out. You've got the three centre-backs of Brown, Moore and Long in there, and Javan Anderson on the wing-back on the other side. Ipswich playing 3-4-3 and striker George Hurst started his first game for Town. He was on the bench a week ago. Freddie Ladapo missing out, and I want to say I was quite surprised at that. I thought Ladapo would have started. He played really well in that Boxing Day game. The likes of Nathan Broadhead, he's played well against us in the past, was on the bench looking to make their first Ipswich appearance as well. What a side Ipswich have amassed. But they haven't actually won in the league since they gave us that hammering on Boxing Day. So there has been some discontent growing amongst the Ipswich fans. It's the same old story of them getting a little bit nervous when they've been in these good positions before and let it slip in League One. So Ipswich fans, yeah, this game didn't go your way today, and I'm really interested to know what your thoughts are. Yeah, you didn't get the rub of the green and all that stuff, but what are your thoughts now that you haven't had a great run on McKenna, on the team, and whether you think you are going to secure this promotion? Going into the game, we saw Oxford start well at Portman Road, and I actually thought in the first 10 minutes Oxford actually did start quite well in this one. They got about Ipswich, tried to create some problems, really tried to be a nuisance. When they did win the ball back, passed it around a bit. Same old problem with Oxford, the lack of cutting edge and creating any clear-cut chances or having a meaningful shot at Walton. But it was Ipswich who started to crank up through the gears and started to create the chances. The first one came from a corner where Oxford just went to sleep. Very much well worked in the corner, and they got the ball out to Lee Evans on the edge of the box. It was in far too much space, but his shot with the side foot was quite easily saved by Simon Eastwood. Then Marcus McGuane was muscled off the ball by Connor Chaplin a few minutes later. I don't think McGuane's had the best couple of weeks. I mean, maybe he might be the one that needs to have a little sit out for a couple of weeks. He's played a lot of games this season. That's not maybe gone off the boil a little bit, but he got in taken off the ball by Chaplin, which gave Ipswich a great opportunity to run in on us. But Sam Long playing fantastically well at centre-back in the last few weeks, made an excellent recovery challenge. The game was pretty scrappy. There was not much football being played. It was a lot of like up in the air, long balls forward, but very, very scrappy. Not the best game to watch, but Ipswich were the ones creating the chances. 29 minutes, it was an Ipswich break. Wes Burns with a great run, got him past Brown, got him past Fleming, got into the box. You thought all he had to do was finish it, but he hit it over the bar. And then a couple of minutes later, Chaplin's header from a harness cross went straight at Eastwood. And at this point, you're just thinking, Oxford are on the ropes here. We're really really kind of like soaking up the pressure. Very reminiscent to the game we saw on Boxing Day. But then Oxford took the lead. Yannick Wildschut with his first goal for Oxford United. I thought he was decent today. He put himself about a bit. Obviously, he got this goal, and hopefully this goal now will kick him on and make him a lot better. He's not like... I haven't really seen any pace from him, but he's a very bulldozer type player, and this is how he got his goal today. He got the ball, and Ipswich just couldn't get the ball off him, and he just kept almost like, either through lucky ricochets or through his power, just kept getting forward, beating more and more players, and before you know it, he was right in front of Walton, tucked it past him nicely. Oxford United lead. But we love to concede goals, don't we? We cannot keep clean sheets, and this one did not last long after Oxford went 1-0 up. Ipswich got straight back into this game through arguably their best player. Leif Davis is extremely good left back at this level, and it was a great move from Ipswich's point of view. From an Oxford point of view, I have a lot of problems with it, of how Ipswich have managed to get up the field from their own goalkeeper pretty much passing all the way through us. Oxford seemed to be very standoffish once they beat the initial press. You had Danasian, who ran about 40 yards with the ball up the field. I don't know why he wasn't engaged by a midfielder or by Brown or by Fleming. Then they got the ball into Harness, who again was in far too much space. No one tracking his run. But credit to Harness, he was able to pick a beautiful ball out to the back post where Davis was coming onto it. A simple finish, but a good finish. And Ipswich, they deserved to be level, and they were level. Last meaningful action of the first half for a Billy Bowden free kick went over the bar. But Oxford were in this game at 1-1. But you sensed that we needed a little bit of luck if we were going to get a positive result. And maybe the luck came with the weather, because in the second half, the fog rolled in. It was there in the first half, and it wasn't this bad. In the second half, it got really, really difficult, virtually impossible to see watching the game on iFollow. I don't know what it was like in the stands, but there was times when the advertising board lit up and you just couldn't see anything when it was on the far side of the pitch. Very, very just relying on Radio Oxford commentary to give you a picture of what's happening, but they struggled with it as well. And maybe that just helped Oxford, because Ipswich maybe couldn't play good football in those conditions. It was too difficult. But certainly did carve out some chances, and Oxford were definitely led a charmed life in the second half. First, it was Hurst who forced Eastwood into an early save, and then it was Hurst again on 60 minutes who got on the end of a good run by Burns down the right, Oxford's left, their right. Ball pulled back across. Hurst met it beautifully. I thought it'd gone in, but it went just past the post. Oxford's best chances came from set pieces, really, which is unusual. The first one was from a goalmouth scramble from a corner, which could have gone anywhere, but Ipswich just managed to clear their lines. Another great Ipswich move on 75 minutes. There were large periods where this game just was scrappy, and again, no one really did anything, and then the bits of play did break out. But it was Ladapo who came off the bench, was guilty of missing maybe the biggest sitter of the game. Good ball in again, and he's got beyond Sam Long. Very, very simple header. He should be scoring it, and he's somehow managed to really make a bad hash of it. He's headed it into the ground and over the bar and harmlessly wide. It was a really good chance. And as I said, Oxford did lead a charmed life. There was a header from Sam Long from a free kick that went straight at Walton. It was a free header. Long, he should have really done better, but he couldn't get any power on it. And you were just thinking, at that point, I was thinking, a point isn't bad. Let's take a point. The referee came across a couple of times to maybe get this one called off, but they carried on playing. And you're just thinking Oxford maybe can ride this one out. But Oxford went one better, and they did get the win. And as I talked about it against Fleetwood, we got that late winner in a game we didn't deserve to win. I don't think we deserve to win this one today, but it is a goal worthy of winning a game of football. And I've got to say, Tyler Goodrum and Gatling Odonka came in late in this game. It's their busyness that created some problems. Goodrum always looks so good on the ball. Odonka causing some problems with his physicality. But Ipswich couldn't clear the ball, and it came out to Brannagan on the edge of the box. And he hasn't done this for a while, but he's always capable of it. He's rifled a shot in. It's gone past Walton. It may have took a huge deflection. I do not know. I do not care. It went in. Oxford were leading 2-1. And then it just became about, could we scramble it out with 7 minutes of injury time? Ipswich wouldn't say they poured it on and it was a siege against the Oxford goal. There certainly was some pressure. There was an unbelievable scramble on the 88th minute. How the ball didn't go in defies logic and just shows you how Oxford kind of got the luck in this game. The ball bounced onto the bar, huge scramble, and then somehow Eastwood just managed to fall on it and snuff it. But eventually, the full-time whistle came. Oxford got that really good win. First time in ages we've gone back-to-back wins. Really encouraging victory against one of the top sides here. That's just certainly put us in good stead for the games coming up. We know we've got Wycombe coming up next, and it's not going to be easy. Oh, but, you know, who knows? It might be the start of a little run. Let's do some player ratings now, and let's start with Simon Eastwood in goal. And I'm going to give Eastie a 7. I thought he did well. He had no chance with a goal. Very tidy with his work, made a couple of good saves. Just solid in goal for Eastie. 7 out of 10. And you'll see how a late goal improves everyone's rating here. Cameron Brannagan, I thought he had a solid game. He always plays well, doesn't he? All that business is now behind him. And 7 out of 10 for Cameron Brannagan. I'm going to echo that for Elliot Moore as well. I thought the defence really stood up to be counted today. Those three of Brown, Moore and Long worked really well together. Ipswich, probably one of the hardest teams you're going to play against. And yes, they did create chances, as you would expect, but they kept getting blocks, getting challenges, and Moore gets a 7 out of 10, as does Sam Long. In fact, I'm going to put Sam Long up to an 8. I thought Sam Long was really good today. He tried to impact the game going forward as well as in defence. There was a few times he made some really great last-minute challenges in there as well, and I thought he was probably, I think, Oxford's best player today. I'm going to give Long an 8 out of 10. Decent debut for Brandon Fleming. I think there's more to come from him, encouraging. Thought he started the game on the front foot really nicely. He got dragged back deeper and you didn't see as much of him from an attacking point of view, but he showed he can defend as well. I thought he put a shift in, and so I definitely encouraging there's more to come from him. He looks a good player, and I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Jevon Anderson gets a 6. I just don't think he kind of impacted the game in the way we want him to. And maybe that's harsh because he's up against Leif Davis and he's a superb player. And I think he struggled against him all afternoon. He couldn't really get going the other way as well. We didn't really see any driving runs from him. So I don't think his best game. I don't think he was bad. A 6 out of 10 for Anderson. And of course, Brannagan gets an 8, doesn't he? Look, he comes in. You can never fault Cameron Brannagan's effort and his heart and his commitment, and I thought he put himself about today. It wasn't an easy game for the midfielders. They didn't really get much time to play on the ball, but he's come up with a winning goal, and he's come up with a winning goal so many times for us this season. He hasn't done it in a while, but he's back to form. Smashed this one in from the edge of the box. Cameron Brannagan gets an 8 out of 10. But Marcus McGuane gets a 5. I don't think he was good. I think he really struggled in this game today. He didn't really get into it and impact it in the way I think he can, and don't think he's played that well in the last couple of games. As I said, maybe it's just time for him to take a couple of weeks out of the team and recharge the batteries a little bit and go again. Certainly not writing him off. He's been great this season, but didn't play great today, so he gets a 5. And Lewis Bay gets a 6. I don't think he was great in the midfield either. I don't think we didn't really see him get on the ball. There was a couple of times he got on the ball and did some good things. There was a couple of times he was sloppy and tried a bit too much and got caught in possession. So I don't think it was his best game. Again, you can't fault the fact that he's always willing to get on the ball and trying to do things, which is encouraging. Just didn't quite work for him today. But again, not bad, just not great. 6 out of 10. Billy Bowden gets a 5. I don't think playing him up top does him any favours, really. He was hiding to nothing, really, especially when Oxford were quite direct in this game, missing out the midfield quite a lot. You didn't see Bowden really wasn't able to get the ball down and pass it too much in this game, which is his real strength. And he really struggled up there. You didn't really see him get too many touches. I don't really think that was Carl's greatest masterstroke, to be honest. More of a 10 or more of a wide player. And he stayed on far too long for my liking too. But Billy Bowden gets a 5. Yannick gets a 7. I thought he was busy. I thought he was industrious. I thought there's a bit that annoys me about Yannick. And he's got a bit of what Marcus McGuane used to do, where he does well, gets past a player, feels a tug, feels a clip, and just stops and waits for the referee to give a decision. And it annoys me. Just go forward and play to the whistle. But he was obviously impactful, scored the goal, first goal for United. He's starting to make an impact in games now, which is encouraging. Hopefully he can kick on. 7 out of 10 for Yannick. Matty Taylor came on after 63 minutes, didn't do much, ran around a bit, made a nuisance of himself, had one shot. 6 out of 10 for Matty T. Same for Kyle Joseph. Didn't really see him do too much to impact the game, but nice to have him back. Another 20, 30 minutes of him getting game time into his legs. He's going to be an important player for us down the stretch. Goodrum, Odonka, and Finley came on too late for me to give them a grade. So we move on to Carl Robinson. And I'm going to give Carl an 8 out of 10 for this game. Oxford rode their luck once again in this one, but they've come out with a victory. Good to see Robinson trying a different formation, playing the wing-backs. I think that helped Oxford be competitive in this game. And once again, you know, his substitutions I thought were pretty good. I could have done with Bowden coming off pretty early, but he wasn't afraid to take McGuane off. And Wildschut still getting back to fitness. And throwing on O'Donker and throwing on Goodrum. It's good to see him playing the youth players. So, good couple of weeks for Robinson. A lot of noise about him. The Robinson out brigade can be quiet again for another week until we inevitably lose to Wycombe. But Robinson gets another 8 out of 10 for me. And that brings me on to my final thoughts. Look, first of all, from an Ipswich Town point of view, you'll be hard to fathom how you didn't win this game this afternoon. A bit like what I said about the Fleetwood fans last weekend. Oxford really got away with one, lived a charmed life, and Ipswich fans, not an enjoyable afternoon in pretty horrible conditions, not in the best of form. But I'm really interested to know your thoughts, as I said at the start, on where you think your team is and what's going on with McKenna, because you're in a little bit of a sticky run at the moment. From an Oxford United point of view, it's a great win. It's a massive win. We go to Wycombe now with 2 big wins under our belt. We know we haven't done well against Wycombe in recent seasons, but maybe this is the time where we can get something, and then we move on to Burton away at the weekend as well. So it's an opportunity for Oxford United to put more points on the board this week. I'm going to the Burton game as well. Really looking forward to that one. So if anyone's around, you see me, I'm in the terrace bit. Come and say hello. I'll be happy to come and speak to you. Keep me company, because I'm going to be there on my own as well. So those are good things too for Oxford United on the field. Some 2 great results backing up that Fleetwood win, and probably a very unexpected win this afternoon. But there's off the field issues for Oxford United. It cannot be overstated, really, that this stadium meeting is going to be huge. It's not the finalised thing. It's just going to be another step, hopefully in the right direction. But it's very important that Oxford United get some good news coming out of it. They've really, the board members, the chief strategy officer was on Radio Oxford this week, really talking about how this is really all the eggs in the basket now. This is what we need. If we don't have that, the future of Oxford United is going to be very rocky if we don't get this what's looking like Freezeway triangle site. So there's a petition from Oxvox on there. I think it was up to like 8,000 signatures. Please just go and do it. It costs you nothing to sign up with an email and go and do it. And it just shows the weight that Oxford United carries in this community. It shows you that how much Oxford United means to this community and how many fans we have all over the world, really, and how we don't want Oxford United to just fade away and die. We need to be there. We need to carry on moving forward. So it is important that you do get your voices heard. There's information on there about how you can write to councillors as well. Every fan doing a little bit means a lot. So if you love Oxford United, if you like Oxford United, if you have a casual interest in Oxford United, if you just want professional sport to carry on in Oxford United, in Oxfordshire as a football club, then do your little bit to help Oxford United with this stadium bid. Move on. Good week on the field for Oxford United. Good week for Robbo. Let's not talk about signings, but hey, we got Brandon Fraser in the door, didn't we? He looked pretty good. So hopefully some more will come in as well. Who knows? Maybe this season's not over. Maybe we can still salvage something from it. We will move on to Wycombe. Fingers crossed. I think we're going to need it. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy your Saturday evening. Hit like and subscribe. I'll speak to you soon.